Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mental Junk Food, where we talk about all things comics, sci fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between. And today, we're going to be talking about Rob Liefeld and the fact that there's going to be no more Youngblood comics, at least from Rob Liefeld. And so let's go ahead and get into it. I've already done this video once before, and due to the fact that my software is a little wonky, it won't let me record past 10 minutes. So I have 10 minutes or less to explain everything that you need to know. So let's see if I can pull it off. Let's get this out of the way. Boom. So Rob Liefeld wrote as of yesterday, which was, I think, Friday. What was Friday? Friday was August the 3rd of 2019. And this comes from his Facebook page. Where is Young Blood? This is the question I get asked repeatedly at every store signing or comic convention I attend. Inquiries about Young Blood as a film, a comic book, all of it. The truth is, they are in the midst of an ugly custody battle, and I currently don't have any interaction with them for the first time in over 22 years. Now, Rob Liefeld starts to get into the backstory of how this came to be, which was a surprise to me and pretty much everyone else in comic fandom. In 1997, at 29 years of age, I took an investor named Scott Rosenberg of Malibu Comics. I had a previous relationship with him, but this was different. Jeph Loeb, who many of you may know from, I think it was The Long Halloween or something like that, Batman book, and also semi-recently his run on the Red Hulk. Brought him to the table as a potential partner. After a few discussions, the time felt right to make the move. We made a fancy press announcement and we birthed Awesome Comics. Awesome Comics, by the way, was very short lived. It didn't make it very far. There's actually a little interesting little side note. After heroes were born for Marvel Comics sometime in the 90s, Rob Liefeld enjoyed drawing Captain America so much that he actually acquired the rights to another Jack Kirby creation that looked similar to Captain America. I can't remember what his name is right off the bat, but maybe one of you fine folks out there in comic book fandom can enlighten me. But anyway, he actually got into a lot of litigation with Marvel over that. I'm not really sure how that settled, but yeah. Anyway, Awesome Comics. It was meant as a temporary adjustment. If it did not find another partner, Scott would foreclose and own everything. I eventually found another partner, a gentleman named John Hyde. So already we went from Scott Rosenberg of Malibu Comics to this guy named John Hyde. And he stepped in to finance Awesome Comics until he and Scott had an issue. And Awesome went into free fall, and I shuttered the label permanently in 2000. So that explains that. Scott and John and I agreed to split my Extreme catalog in 1999, which I don't understand this. Why would he have to split up his catalog? So basically, the way I take it, the way that they did the investment deal is that John and Scott had rights to some of Rob Liefeld's characters. We each received 8 titles and could exploit them in the media. The environment at the time was not kind to comic book material, and I wasn't selling any of my catalog picks. Neither were John and Scott. Through it all, maintained publishing rights, bringing you the comic book adventures of my creations with different and various creatives under my oversight until now. There were no hiccups whatsoever. Long story short, after failing to come to terms on 2 movie deals in recent years, including a movie deal in 2017 that I was certain was moving forward, I contacted Hank Canavelis. I don't know who that is, and informed him that he should expect some participation. Scott informed me last summer during 2018 Comic Con that in order to raise capital, he had sold or partnered with someone for Youngblood Comics and Toys. So this guy named Scott, who I believe is Scott Rosenberg of Malibu Comics fame, in order to raise money for whatever, he had partnered with somebody or sold some of the rights to Youngblood to get money. I was stunned but not surprised. These are the most important assets that Scott possesses, and he needed to raise funds. The man he partnered with is named Andrew Rev. Now, pay attention to this name, it will come up later. Someone unknown to me and informed me a number of times over the past year that he could make a big success in comics, the next Todd McFarlane even, and told me I could audition for producing Youngblood Comics. You can imagine how well that went over. So currently, I have questionable access to the Youngblood characters. Characters I created and shepherded for nearly 3 decades. As a result, I shut down the storyline that would take Youngblood to issue 100 and beyond. A decidedly new approach is necessary, which I believe is paramount in this post-Avengers world we find ourselves in. Youngblood will no longer be published by Image Comics or with my involvement at this time. A first in the 27 years since it launched. It's all really weird, but I've settled into the realization that this is the way it's going to be. I held it together for 23 years since doing the deal until now. A film company rang me up just last week seeking the rights to Youngblood, but it required my involvement, and I cannot, at this juncture, go forward. Thankfully, my other partner, John Hyde, has chosen to go a different path as he realizes the value that I bring to my creations, and we have partnered on his selections with profit going forward, having set up the feature film, and we're currently pursuing glory in all media. So the way I take it, John Hyde, out of all these investors, John Hyde must own the rights to profit and glory. Scott Rosenberg of Malibu Comics must own the rights to Youngblood. That's the way I take it. Could be wrong, but there you go. But they're going to be pursuing glory in all media. 2/3 of my catalog receive my involvement and participation. Now here it gets even more interesting. I have Bloodstrike, Brigade, Berserkers, Blood Wolf, Rejects, Kaboom, Evangeline, and Cybrid, and others in my portfolio completely under my domain. As I informed everyone last year, I walked away from the Netflix deal because I felt it was not the best opportunity at this time in our ever-changing world. I'm a finicky cat. Well, I disagree with this, Mr. Rob Liefeld. I wasn't there to see what the deal pertained or had in it, but I felt like it was an awesome opportunity for you. Because essentially you'll be filling a void on Netflix that's going to be left by Marvel when they start being cannibalized by Disney for their new Disney Channel app or whatever it is that they got coming out with. So Netflix is going to need some new superhero stuff. So missed opportunity in my opinion, and I don't know. That's just me. But I always thought it was interesting when he did the Netflix deal. Why wasn't Prophet part of it? Why wasn't Youngblood? Well, now we know. It's because you have Scott Rosenberg and John Hyde owning a certain percentage of the rights to those characters. So that explains a lot. Anyway, I share this with you now following an unexpected conversation with Andrew Rev. Remember we talked about him earlier, Andrew Rev. That's one of the last investors that he had about publishing. In short, it was very disrespectful, and I had to put distance between me and these people and my creations, which are now in foreign domain. I had to convincingly wash my hands of this corner of my imagination. I have pretty fertile mind and many new projects yet to advance, many making the media rounds that will be known soon enough. So it sounds like he's talking about something other than Major X. This was a much needed update and hopefully explains the current situation. Youngblood represented some of my finest work, and I'm proud of all the work that was produced. Sadly, film companies will be reluctant to invest the time and money in a venture without the support and blessing of its creator. Upwards, onwards, to the extreme. Rob Liefeld. I like that. That's this little part. I like that saying. Pretty cool. Anyway. Yeah, lots to digest there, and I only got so much time to say it in because again, video shuts off around 10 minutes automatically. It's a weird software issue on my part, but This right here explains the whole Netflix thing, why he chose these books to be part of it instead of Youngblood and Prophet. This also explains why he hasn't done much comic book wise with his own creations since the year 2000, after the demise of Awesome Entertainment. This explains so much, and I feel bad for him in a way, because his creations are being cannibalized by all these different investors. But it is what it is. So that's pretty much it, folks. It's time to go, as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with anything I said? What do you think about these recent developments about there are going to be no more Youngblood comics from Rob Liefeld? And also, before I forget, that Andrew Rev guy that I mentioned before, he owns Comic Co Comics. Okay, and he's launching a new comic book company, unless I'm mistaken, or he has some dealings with a comic book company called Terrific Comics or Terrific Productions, and that's where a new Youngblood series is going to be put together. But Rob Liefeld will have nothing to do with it. So what do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to be kept up to date to all my latest shenanigans, and I will see you in the next video.